As we are all very well aware, one of the best ways to sell anything, whether it's online or in person, is to use social proof. And when done right, it can be the most compelling factor in all of your copy. So let me show you exactly how you can do that. Welcome back to the Bonaventure MS Digital Marketing Show. My name is Jonathan, and today I want to tell you how you can best use social proof and how you can make it flawless. So the idea of social proof is not not anything new at all, right? Back when I was doing dating coaching, it's something that I put a very strong emphasis on, and moving into the digital world with digital dating, it's still something that has such a powerful effect, right? And that same effect, as I learned when I started to do marketing, carries over just as well. But it has to be done smoothly, right? It's like if so when I used to sell cars, when I would do when I was in car sales, there was someone who told me about the idea of like a success stories book. I forget what he called it exactly, but he would have a book on his desk that would be a bunch of photos of him and all of the happy customers who had bought from him in the past. Now, he'd been at it for I think 15 or 20 years, so his photo book was like big like that, right? You'd open it and be like and you have hundreds of people all with like a handwritten note and a little Polaroid photo talking about how great of a salesman he was, how much they trusted him, how good he was at recommending the perfect automobile for them, and things like that, right? And he was a very smooth salesman. He was very good at what he did, but I just had no idea how I could make that work for me. One, I was new, so I didn't have all those success stories. But even once I did, I was like, what's the proper strategy? Because I know that he leaves it closed on his desk, but what does he do? Does he just hope that people wander over there, open it, and read it? So what I did was I sat back and I watched him sell. And it didn't take me long of creeping around corners and pretending to walk by to pick up on exactly how he was doing it. He'd greet someone at the door, he'd take them for the walk around to the vehicle, they'd go out on the test drive, they'd pull back in, and as he was walking into the dealership, he would make what we call a cold reading statement. And a cold reading statement is when you tell somebody something that they pretty much universally agree with. So his cold reading statement was something like, hey, so you love the car, you love the drive, but I expect that you're not the type of person to take action just based on purely how you feel about something. You need to know that you can actually trust that what you're doing is the right decision, and you need to be able to logically make sense of it. Is that right? And so the person would be like, yeah, of course, because nobody wants to say, I just make decisions emotionally, and I don't think about it at all. So they'd say, yeah, of course. And that's as they're walking to the office. And he'd say, okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'll figure out the best price that I can get for you on the car that we just looked at, so we can get the numbers together and we can look at what we can make work. And while we're doing that, he'd sit down, right? They'd sit down too, and he'd take this little picture book that he had, and he'd slide it over to them. And he's like, just take a look through this, because I think that it could give you a lot of the answers that you're looking for, right? He'd leave it open-ended like that, so that piques the curiosity. They're like, what answers? I don't have any questions, right? So they open it, and they see right away him probably in the 90s with a happy customer and a handwritten note. And they flip through it, and they see another one. And they flip through it and they see another one and another one and another one, and the social proof just keeps stacking up. And the whole time, not only are they seeing social proof, but because he's been doing it for so long, and because he's had so many clients, they can without a doubt find someone in there who represents them, right? Somebody who looks like them, and somebody who, within their note, can say that they have the same situation as them. So somebody who's like, I'm a school teacher and I didn't think it was possible for me to drive away with a new Honda, but here I am now. Or some guy who's like some jacked up bodybuilder, and the guy's like, oh, that looks like me, look at that. If that guy can fit inside the Honda Fit, then I should probably be able to as well. Right? So he's stacking up this social proof, all the while he's just playing around, like slowly punching in numbers. He knows exactly what he's doing. It doesn't take him that long, but he's going slow on purpose so that they get the social proof stacked up, and when time comes around, he turns over to them and he's like, so this is the normal price. What I can do is give you this much % off, and that's really like the lowest I can go to still get a good commission for myself. Is that cool with you? And the person inevitably would say, yeah, that's awesome. And they'd go and they'd buy. Well, most of them, right? There are some people who are really stingy and they don't care. But a lot of the people, rather than having an argument on price, now they see it as purely a value thing, and they have all of that social proof to back it up, right? And it's so smooth. And it's like in the dating world, right? Back when I was doing a lot of dating coaching, back when I was going out on a lot of dates and doing a lot of that kind of stuff, I would tell guys, you have to get social proof, you have to make it work for you. The women that you're with need to know that you're a desirable guy. And so a lot of guys, what they would come back to me with is, okay, so then I'll just tell her how much other girls like me, and I'll put some obviously set up photos on my Tinder profile of me with like 40 girls around me being like, ha ha ha, and all the girls are like, wow, you're so great. And they would expect that to work and just have it be smooth and nobody would see through it at all. Obviously, that's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is like the salesman did. You're taking someone through the natural process as it should be done, and along the way, you're dropping in little bombs like, hey, by the way, this, hey, by the way, this, hey, by the way, this, where they can get to a situation where then they get into that picture book, right? You can, in the dating world, it's like if you walk into a restaurant where everybody knows you, then all of a sudden you have that huge social proof and the girl's like, wow, look at you, you're popular, you aren't just a big loud guy. People actually like that you're a big loud guy, and you're a big loud guy for a reason, right? So when you do that in copy, it can pretty much be done the exact same way. Where you're writing out your copy, you make that same kind of cold reading statement like, hey, I wouldn't expect you to make emotions based or so I wouldn't expect you to make decisions based solely on emotions. Here is like a testimonial from our customers, or here's a bunch of testimonials from our customers, or with a package that you send out, you've got a book of testimonials, something like that. And that way you can stack social proof on your side, make it smooth, and create no friction at all between what you want and what your customer wants. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of exactly how you can go out and apply social proof right now in any of your content, because you can do that in emails, you can do that in sales pages, you can even do that in your ads or have video ads going out of actual customer testimonials. That way you've got the social proof up front and it works right away. If you have any questions about how you can apply these strategies into your business right now, just send me a message, leave me a comment. I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you next week.